welcome back to Wright Cycle Works. I am currently writing some stuff to plot out the easy loop for the 304 detour right now. You guys are in for one heck of a loop. I'm so excited about this. It's been a blast so far. I am right now, I'm north of Bull Run Bridge, aka Blue Hole for those of you who know the area. And yes, we are coming through here on the easy loop. Reason for the video is got a new bike on the channel and I wanted to show everybody what I purchased and its intended purpose, and you know, just excited about it. So let's look at this thing. I've picked up a 2017 Honda Africa Twin. So those of you that subscribe and are familiar with my content, you know that I have a Kawasaki Versys 650 that I've kind of converted into a adventure bike in a way. But that thing is starting to get to the point where it's basically dead. The front of the frame is bent because I've taken it off the road and beat it so much. And last time I had it out, I actually bent the front cast 17-inch wheels. So, I mean, I bought it for next to nothing, but it's not really worth anything, so I can't really sell it in its condition. So I was looking for an adventure bike to fill that role, something a little more off-road, and something that me and the missus could do some moto camping and some mild adventures on. And then at the same time, something that I could absolutely be a hoonigan on off-road, more so that would fill that role for what I had the Versys 650 doing. So found this bike really local. It was over in Shinston, and you can see it's fairly stock. It does have a Black Dog Cycle Works skid plate, which unfortunately is no longer available. Keep the cool Africa continent laser engraving on that. SW Motec lower crash bars. I did order the uppers. They should be here fairly soon. It does have the Tusk pannier racks. I have the hard boxes for this thing that I took off for now, just because I'm not really a big fan of the hard boxes. I get the point, they're cool, but for what I do right now, this giant case that's on the back of this thing is more than adequate for what I do. It does have legit Barkbuster brand handguards. These are Barkbuster Storm handguards. I had a cell phone mount laying around that I threw on there, and this thing does have heated grips which are integrated to the dash and do work really well. And if you forget they're on, they will burn your hands. They're very hot. So what do I like about the bike and what do I not like? So let's go through the pros first. My top thing that I love about this thing is the fact that the ergonomics are super comfortable. It carries its weight incredibly well. Now when you're pushing this thing around the garage, I mean, you can tell that it weighs over 500 pounds. That's a given, but the center of gravity is so low on this thing that once you get rolling, it really does just feel like a giant dirt bike. And that really appeals to me. Just because of my racing background, the fact that I have that KTM 500 EXC, and I tell you, really, it reminds me a lot of my XR 650R once you're rolling. The foot pegs are a good height. The seat is super comfortable for being a stock seat. I did forget to mention it does have some bar risers on there, which really helped me. But overall, like, it doesn't feel as big as what it is once you're moving. So really enjoy that about the bike. Let's talk about the motor. So 1000cc parallel twin. The thing just chugs and chugs and chugs. It's got torque for days. It is a fantastic unit. You know, I hate to use that term linear that a lot of people talk about, but that's exactly what this motor is. I would say it's a little punchier too, especially when you get into the mid-range and the top end. It really starts pulling like a freight train. And it's quiet, it's smooth, there's not really a whole lot of vibration. Just an overall really enjoyable experience with the engine. Let's talk about the suspension. So I've messed with the clickers a little bit, compression and rebound in the preload. And as far as stock suspension for an adventure bike goes, I love this. Love the suspension. It's fantastic for what I do. I'm 6'2", 220 pounds, and I have yet to bottom the thing out. And coming down this trail to Bull Run Bridge is very rocky, washed out. Didn't bottom it out one time. So I'm sure that it could stand to have some adjustments done on a little bit more to dial it in slightly better. But for right now, I'm very, very satisfied with what it is. Let's talk about the brakes. Obviously, you know, you got dual disc up front and a big single rear in the back. Brakes are fantastic. The front end will absolutely lock up right now once you get on it. You know, you got an 18-inch rear wheel, 21-inch front, so it's easy to find tires for. Lots of options as far as that goes for different sizes and different brands. Let's talk about the rider modes and kind of the dash and display and the electronics. So that's one thing I really enjoy about this thing, is it is as basic as they come in all aspects. So you have traction control right up here. See this little bar, and you can see that if I start the thing up, give me 1 second here. Turn the kickstand off. So switch is on. You can see there's 3 levels of traction control. Simple click of the button resets it, just rolls over and over and over. However, if you press and hold the traction control button for a few seconds, it does go away. Turns it completely off. You do have a button here to press and hold to turn the rear wheel ABS off. I'm not sure if there's a way to turn the front ABS off. I don't think there is, but you know, seems to be all right for now, especially off-road. Usually whenever I'm riding on the street, I will leave the ABS on and turn the traction control back to just 1. It seems to be really good on the street. Like I said, very analog dash. You don't have to fiddle through a bunch of different screens and menus to pick what kind of settings you want. I mean, there's not really that many settings to begin with, but you know, I like that as, you know, somebody that wants that analog experience when they're on the motorcycle. Super nice to have that. You can see it does have a clock, miles per gallon. You can see the air temperature. You can do elapsed times. There's a few options, but nothing much on there. And yeah, as far as that goes, it's really about it as far as the display and dash. You see it says CRF whenever you turn it off. I think that's pretty neat. So let's talk about the things on the bike that I don't really like. And there's a few. First thing that I do not like about this motorcycle is, this is going to be pretty petty, I think, but the switch gear on the left-hand side, the blinker is very hard to find if you're not looking at it. Most of the time on any other bike I've had, where the horn is usually where the blinker is. And I've found myself honking the horn instead of using the blinker so many times on this thing. So that's kind of aggravating. Maybe there's a solution for it, maybe not. I'm just living with it and learning how to adjust my hand placement to use the blinker instead of using the horn. Second thing I don't like about this bike is probably the windshield, the stock windshield. This thing is really big. And what I find myself with a lot of times is, as I'm sitting on the bike with my height, my eyes are looking straight at the end of the windshield. So it kind of messes with your vision a little bit. You either have to kind of sit up or tuck your head down to get behind it. I would really like a shorter windscreen for this thing, and it's not really adjustable. I do know that they make some adjustable windshields. I'm a guy that doesn't mind a little buffeting on my chest riding down the street, so you know, it's not a big deal. I have noticed once in a while there seems to be some flame out / burbling at low speeds. I'm not sure if it's, you know, could be air filter dirty, could be something with the fuel injection itself. It hasn't actually stalled out like the CRF450Ls do, but it is something that I do hear once in a while. What else? So being a adventure bike this size that they tried to compact as much stuff as they could and make it as light as possible, there are some things on this thing that are really hard to work on. So you can see just how stuffed in the engine is inside the frame. It's kind of tedious to get to some things. For example, when I first bought it, the battery was dead, and the battery box on this thing is an absolute pain in the ass to get out. The battery has cables that attach to it, and then they kind of attach to other things, so it's really a pain in the ass to get that out of there. One positive thing that I forgot to mention about the 21-inch front wheel is on the street, this thing actually does dive into corners really well. You know, obviously I've got that Versus 650, and I feel like this thing dives into corners on the street a lot faster and better than it does on the Versus with the 17-inch front wheel, which is pretty surprising. And I think, you know, last thing, I mean, it's heavy. It's a big bike. It's over 500 pounds. If you drop the thing, it is a bear to get back up. I mean, that just comes with the territory of being a full-size adventure bike like this. But, you know, these things are starting to come down in price. I picked this thing up for $7 grand. Can't complain one bit. It's everything that I wanted. You know, it was between this and a Tenere 700, and these are starting to become a lot cheaper than the Tenere 700, and frankly, in my opinion, it's an overall better motorcycle. I don't feel as top heavy like I do on the Tenere 700. The brakes feel a million times better than they do on the T7. And I think, you know, coming from a background of just beating a Versus 650 off-road, I feel like Pol Terrace on this thing when I go off-road on it. And there's plenty of videos out there, you know, Tony Bow and others out there just absolutely railing these things, rally racing and what have you. So really looking forward to having this bike in the stable. I think it's going to be a fantastic addition and fill a need that I was really looking for. As far as mods for the future, definitely going to get some slightly more aggressive tires. Although, I got to give it to Shinko. These are Shinko 705s, and I've really done some pretty hardcore off-road stuff today with this thing, and it's ate it up no problem. I'm super impressed. So it's probably going to be one of those deals where I'm not going to be in a huge hurry to get rid of these. I'm just going to let them wear out and then probably put something a little more aggressive on there. Maybe something like a Motaz or what have you. Got to get a better exhaust. This thing is absolutely huge and heavy. I mean, look at it. It looks like a Magnaflow of some kind. Got another exhaust coming for this to hopefully lighten it up just slightly. And like I said earlier, upper crash bars. Would like to probably get some soft bags for the rack and get a slightly smaller rear case for this thing. That's going to do it for me today on the CRF1000 Africa Twin. Hope you all enjoyed it and learned a few things about it on the channel, and really looking forward to putting out more content for you guys, especially with this bike. So I'm going to head on up the road, up the trail, and continue routing out the 304 Detour Easy Loop. It's a beautiful day, couldn't ask for better weather, and really appreciate it. And would also appreciate if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell. It really helps the channel out. Hopefully see you guys on the trail. Take care.